Hello again, YouTube. How you doing? This is Delroy Young with Delroy's Teaching. And as I have said in the video before, we are going to be doing a series of videos about the health and wellness of the body, healing sick and diseases from out of the body. I had made prior videos to this where I talk about the impact of food, cursed food that people have been eating, and how that is going to affect your health. So we don't want to make a video about the same thing every time, and this is why you have to watch the rest of my videos to find out, to listen to what I'm saying, because anything that I don't say in one video, I'm going to be saying it in another video. Yesterday I made an introduction that we were going to do this. I had started talking about the healing, and with regards to the white man's body is different from the black man's body. So we don't want to go into the things that we already talked about, or the things that we're going to be talking about in future video. We want to talk about the subject that we're on today, and the subject that we're going to be on right now. We're going to be talking about the black man's body with regards to the sunlight. What is the importance of the sunlight, and what does it do to your health? So we're going to be talking about that. But before we go anywhere into any kind of physical healing, the first things come first. Before we can even go into the sunlight and into the sun and what it does, what role it plays in the healing of a man, we have to first look at the spiritual aspect of things. So if we're going to be talking about the sun, you would rather talk about the spiritual aspect of the sun first before we go into the physical aspect. This is because anything that happens in the physical world must first occur in the natural, in the spiritual world. The natural world is just a manifestation of what has already happened in the spiritual world. So the things that we see within the spiritual, within the natural world, the things that we are looking at physically and interacting with, those things already happened in the natural world, in the spiritual world. So what does that tell us? That tells us that the spiritual world, it governs over the natural world, because it sets the precedence of the things that which are to happen in the natural world. So it actually masters the spiritual world. So the natural world is a wheel that carries out the activities or the decisions that is made in the spiritual world, which is the driver. So what does that tell you? If that is so, that means that both healing and sicknesses comes from out of the spiritual world. Something have to occur within the spiritual world first for a person's body to get sick. There have to be an error within the spiritual world, that you were engaged within that error within the spiritual world, and because of the error that you were indulged in at that time and place, that disease was ordered and was scheduling to come into your body. So now the question is, what could we possibly do in the spiritual world within the place where our minds live, and the activities of life had occurred first. What could we have possibly done in there? What could have gone wrong for us to experience a tear within the physical world? How did the disease start? How did they come into your body? Where did the disease happen? Where was this first ordered and authorized to come into your body? So that cancer that you're now affected with, that diabetes that you're now affected with, the heart disease that you're now affected with. Where is the beginning of all of this? It begins within the spiritual world. Now, for anything to affect you within the spiritual world, the trajectory of your spirit and the life of your spirit had to be changed. There had to be first a transition there. So this means that you have to violate the good spirit that is responsible for keeping your health in place, for keeping your body in place, for keeping your mind in place. That spirit had to be first violated. And then within the violation, the lack of health occurred. Because remember, you were healthy first before you were sick. So your default state, your original state was a healthy state. And then something's occurred in the spiritual world that causes you to be sick. So then if being healthy is better than being sick, then being sick have to be a bad thing, which means that within the spiritual world, a bad thing or a negative thing have to occur within the spiritual world. That means that whatever you do, whatever thought process that your mind was having at the time, it have to occur by you leaving from a positive thought into a negative thought, a positive attitude into a negative attitude, a positive spirit into a negative spirit. Because a disease cannot occur within a person's body except a negative spirit occur. So what happens? Why would a negative spirit occur in a person's body as opposed to a positive spirit? Because you was in this positive spirit first, because your body was healthy. So now the negative, the temptation come at the time for you to submit yourself to that temptation and be seduced by the negative and destructive spirit. Now when that spirit comes into your body, into your mind, into your head, into your spiritual realm, it takes over the positive spirit, and the health that would have been good now turned into the health that is bad, because it turned from a positive energy into a negative energy. So that same thing that was positive, that same attitude that was positive, that same thought process that was positive, had changed into a negative thought process, and that sends the disease into your body. The disease is authorized from there because it was authorized from the spiritual world. So that means you have to start somewhere. So now let's look at another thing. If we are talking about the spiritual world, then we are talking about spirits. So what can change from negative to positive have to be a spirit that can change from a negative spirit to a positive spirit, or a positive spirit to a negative spirit. So then what is a spirit? A spirit is an energy. A spirit is an energy force, is an energy that you becomes involved with. How do we know that a spirit is an energy? Because the body cannot live without the spirit. The body is dead without the spirit. So then if the body is dead without the spirit, then the spirit is the energy, and the energy comes from the spirit. Therefore the life comes from the spirit. Your state of being alive comes from the spirit that is within you. So therefore, when you are spiritual dead, when things happen within your life that you have become susceptible to, that puts your mind into a negative state, that causes your body to be sick, that causes your spirit to change from a negative spirit to a positive spirit. Therefore, you're not changed from a positive energy to a negative energy, because now we had concluded that the spirit is an energy, because the body can't live without the spirit, and if the body was dead without the spirit, that means that the spirit is an energy. So you change from from a positive energy to a negative energy, and that causes the sickness in your body. And I want to jump a little bit from that before we come back and said that the same way you change from a negative energy, from a positive energy to a negative energy to create the sickness in your body, that was the initiation of this disease, of this sickness, of whatever is going to affect you in your physical life negatively. The same way you change from that into a negative thing, and it have that kind of negative effect on your body, and now you get sick. The same way within the spiritual world, you can change from that negativity back to a positive things and correct the disease that was caused from that source, from that same source where the disease comes from, is the same source that the healing comes from. So now the disease have to be authorized in the spiritual world, and the spiritual same disease have to be fixed from within the spiritual world. So everything starts there. So then what now do we need to know? We now know that the spirit is energy. Energy is spirituality. Lack of energy is lack of spirituality. So anything that takes your energy or cause your energy to be less is a negative spirit, and the spirit cannot be negative if it is a spirit. So if it's the negative spirit is the same spirit that is dying and now is becoming lifeless, because the negativity goes into the spirit and it causing the spirit now to lose its charge, to lose its power. You're losing that happiness within you. So now your spirit is dying, and as your spirit is dying and will become dead, so as your spirit is dying, your body is also dying and is becoming dead. Your life is being left out of your body, and that is the state of a disease, removing from a positive physical health to a negative spiritual health. That is the course of death, where you're moving on now from life to death. That means that you're moving from being spiritual to losing the spirit, because it have to be spiritual for it to be energy, and it have to be energy for it to be spiritual. If your spirit is losing its energy and it's losing its vigor, then that spirit is becoming dead. It is becoming lifeless, because it is lifeless without the energy. So now what happens? What else do we need to know here? Because we now know that energy is the source of, is the case of the spirit being alive, and the lack of energy is the course of the spirit being dead. Any spirit that can be dead or be alive is a soul. So the spirit that we talk about is the soul. So when the spirit start dying is the soul, because remember the Bible talk about the live soul and a dead soul, whereas a soul, as you know, cannot die, because it is the breath of God within us that became a living soul. And because God is eternal, then the soul is also eternal. But when the soul lacks the positive energy, when it lacks the energy of God, the righteousness of God, the righteous things, the righteous doings of God, the righteous thoughts, the righteous mindset, the positive energy, when the soul lacks that, then the soul becomes dead. So a man can be spiritually dead. So the live soul is a dead soul. And the soul that was live now becomes dead, because now the man is spiritually dead. So he dies out of this body, and he goes into a different world, the world of the dead. So this is a dead soul that is living, but is living in the dead, because his sin is what keeps that soul within the land of the dead. I know this is very deep, but we have to say it anyway. We have to clarify it as we go along the way. So the man is now living in the land of the dead, because that soul is now spiritually dead. So it have no life. It is now in the land of the dead, because the energy had departed from the soul of the man. Now, if the soul of a man is the spirit that can die, or that can either live or die, and the soul is either a dead soul or a live soul, that means that what needs to be done to make the spirit of a man alive, or to keep that soul alive, is this positive thing. It is the will of God within the person life. It is the will of God, which is a positive thing. And then when that soul sin, that soul shall surely die. And this is why the Bible said that the soul that sinneth shall surely die. Death comes through sin. And the spirit have to die first, of a man have to die first before the body die. Because if the spirit is not dead, then the body is still alive. The spirit have to die first, because the spirit is the life of the body. Therefore, even when a man dies an untimely death, he dies an untimely death because of what? The transgression that is done within the spiritual world, the spiritual world. That was where his life took him. So he was slated to be dead anyway. So it is still dead. So either way, the person died, the person being attached from God died. What have to keep us alive in the body is the same thing that keeps us alive within the spirit. And the same thing that keeps us alive within the spirit is the same thing that keeps us alive within the body. And that is clean thoughts, dwelling in the righteousness of God, patience of the spirit, patience, humility, goodness, kindness. Those fruits of the spirit are the fruits of the spirit, because the spirit feeds on these fruits to stay alive. So anytime a man depart from the fruits of the spirit, and there are 9 fruits of the spirit, you can research that because it's in the Bible. Anytime a man depart from the fruits of the spirit, now the spirit become hungry because it is not being fed, and the spirit is dying because it's not being fed. So think about what are the things that could destroy the spirit. Because anything that exists, there's an opposite. So for the 9 fruits of the spirit that there is, for the spirit to feed on, to continue the sustenance of the life of the spirit, so that the body itself and the spirit will stay alive. The 9 fruits of the spirit have also 9 opposite, because where there is bad, there is good. Where there is evil, there is a lack of evil. There's righteousness. Where there is wrong, there is right. So everything that opposite exists have an opposite to it. So it is when a man's spirit engage in the opposite of what the fruits of the spirit is, and you continue to engage in the opposite of what the fruit of the spirit is. The spirit, the energy of the spirit is now lack of food. It is lack of being fed, and because it is lack of being fed, because sin now enters into the spirit, it tears the spirit and it puts the spirit in error. So this error that occur within the spiritual world, within the spiritual realm, it must manifest itself in the natural world, because this natural world is where the manifestation is done. So your actions and the reason why you're acting, why you're doing the things you do, it tells the condition of the spirit and of what is occurring within the spiritual world. Fear brings cancer. Lack of patience brings diabetes. So any disease, any of these common mainstream killer diseases that you can think about comes from out of the condition of the spirit, of the soul of the man that is dying through the sins that you committed. And the sins that you committed is you sin against the Holy Spirit, which within the man is God, because the Holy Spirit in you is not being fed because you're not engaging within the fruits of the Spirit. So now the Spirit is becoming dead, and because the spirit is becoming dead, the lifelessness, a disease is initiated at the point in when you have departed from the fruit of the spirit to obey the opposite of the fruit of the spirit. And that is how the disease starts. And within the same world, same spiritual world where that disease was initiated, where that error was made by departing from the will of the spirit to what was opposite for the spirit. The same where the error was made is the same place where it can be corrected. Anything that is done within the spiritual world is where the initial authorization is take place. For from within the spiritual world, the things that happened in the natural world are ordered. So a decision that was made in the spiritual world to do either the right thing or the wrong thing will be carried out in the natural world. So it's the same place that a man's the resolution against a man's disease or a man's pain in the body, whatever disease that you have within your body, that is the same place where the healing begins. So any disease that a man have within their body can be healed. If you find out about your cancer from early, or your heart disease, or whatever your disease is, that can be rectified through spiritual healing. So healing, my friend, is not a matter of belief. It is a law. These are spiritual laws that works. A man's body can definitely be healed, and it's based on the laws that I'm talking about. Now, should we end this video here, or should I stretch it a little more to talk about what? To talk about now your salvation was there because of the good of the Spirit, because of the good, you obey the voice of the Holy Spirit, and you abide in patience, and you abide in the things that pertains to the growth of the Holy Spirit, which is the fruits of the Spirit, the 9 fruits of the Spirit. And by you abiding in these fruits, you become spiritually alive. So what does that mean? In order for you to abide by the fruit of the Spirit, you have to make sacrifice. You have to deny the flesh. You have to deny your flesh. You have to deny the want and the need for pleasure to do the things that the flesh is encouraging you to do. And by you denying the flesh, you become more spiritual. So when you look at the fruits of the Spirit, each of the fruits of the Spirit is practiced through the denial of the flesh, because the flesh cannot please God, because the Spirit that dwells within you to do good, or the Spirit that dwells within you that can be encouraged or increased by you sustaining the fruits of that Spirit. That Spirit is the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is God within man. And in order for you to be alive or to stay alive, God have to be in you, because it is the only Spirit that have the power to keep a man alive. So thus we begin my teachings on spiritual healing. And I know it's deep. It's much deeper than you think it is. As deep as you see it, it is much deeper than you think it is. But I hope I have at least positioned you, put you into a place where you're now ready to understand healing and to understand what this is all about and where it comes from. It cannot be done without the spirit. You cannot have healing without spiritual healing. Because if your mind is in a state that did cause your body to be sick in the first place, after the physical body has been remedied, the mind is still in that state. So you're still generating the energy or the lack of energy that causes you to be sick, that causes you to be in that position. It's like putting a band-aid over a huge sore rather than using antibiotic, to fix it. If you're looking at things in that perspective. With that being said, man have tried to heal the body through medicine and chemical, and that is a huge failure, because the more medicine you take, the sicker you get, because a man only takes medicine. You only takes medicine when you're sick. So when you're taking medicine, you're sick. When you're taking medicine, you need to take medicine and to continue take more medicine. Because you're positioning, this is the law of parity. You're positioning yourself, you're putting yourself into a position now where you need this medicine, and the only reason why you're taking it is because you need it, and you need it because you're taking it. So when you take it, you need it. So this is how the law of dependency works. That law of dependency works, whereas it puts you into this vicious cycle where you cannot do with the thing and you cannot do without the thing. So you're trapped in this suspense where you keep on going, doing this thing for eternity, and it never really helps you. It is God that made the body. It is God that created the body, that created life. And a person have to start believing that. And therefore, because God creates the body, and God is the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is a part of God that dwells within us, then the Holy Spirit, being alive within us, is not only able to heal the body, but also able to teach us how the body works. Because nobody knows the body better than the Holy Spirit. So we talk about in the beginning the healing of the black man, and where does the healing of the black man come? And the sun, the medicine that is going to the sun, which is a medicine in a sense, a medical planet, a medical existence that is going to help the body, and how that is going to help. So maybe we talk about that in another video, because I was so busy with the beginning trying to get you to understand the context of spirituality when it comes to the healing of the body, because you cannot have any healing without that. And this is what we have covered so far in this video. This is what we have talked about, and this is how we shall begin this aspect. I want to thank you so very much for listening. Please subscribe to my video, because if you don't subscribe to my video, you're gonna lose it all, because we're gonna be going into different subjects in everything. So by the time you get watching enough on this series about the health, you will understand the way the things work, and you will be able to to solve, your physical problems that you have and your health issues. I have been forced to do this series by my family, who I'm now helping, and my friends. I'm running into people that I love, and I'm looking at them dying. I'm seeing everybody, just their health just dissipating, and I feel bad to know that I have this knowledge, that God has given me this knowledge, and I'm sitting on it, and I'm not helping people. So now that we have came through the importance of the gospel, because that was the first thing we preached, the gospel of salvation. Now we have time now to come into the physical healing of man, the physical well-being. I had already made a set of videos about marriage and with married life, living like the married life, dealing with families. But I'm probably gonna make another set of video, because there's so many things I have out there on the web that some of them is just lost. I have videos in YouTube, maybe hundreds. But we're putting everything right now within the local teller, putting everything in the perspective, so that when we send a person a link, they can click on the subject that they need and be blessed. I want to help these people. I saw my friend down there. I was at the music place down there, and I saw my friend, a good friend that I know for years, and he was just, this guy just looked, he was just skinny, and I could look at him, I could see the disease in that man's body, and the same way I was when I was nailed down with diabetes. Went into the hospital over 800, and that after coming out of the hospital, that was how I looked, like how he looked. So I know what he's going through. I know what they think, and just as God had been able to bring me through and had taught me through the Holy Spirit about the body and about healing the body, so that I can look good today as I am right now. I don't even need to gain any more weight. I have to be watching my weight. I can just like he can heal me from that. It's the same way I want to go out and help the people. First of all, the people that I love in my life, like my family and my friends, because I do not like to see people suffer. And this is why I'm doing this, so now that we can help people and save people from the grave. Because if your soul is not saved, man, don't die yet. It is a bad idea, because you have to have salvation in your life. You have to be baptized, filled with the Holy Spirit, living a righteous life and godly life and before God, and winning soul. That was the first thing that we took care of. And we are here today doing this because we have already done that. So look in the localteller.com, because that's where my website is. I don't know what is going to happen, after I leave this world. But right now I'm here, and I'm making videos, and I'm helping as much people as I can. So if you have your diseases within your body, come, ask questions, because that is how you're going to learn. Don't sit and assume that you know it all. Ask questions, comment, do what you can do, because for right now, everything is free. Might come a time when we might want to make money doing some things, but for right now, get whatever information you can get. We want to help the people who need it, because your health is very, very important. It is impossible for you to glorify God within your body if you have the wrong things in your body. So if you're not eating the right food, you cannot worship God. I know that's deep, that's high, right? That's high, but we're talking about that in other videos and everything. And this is why I say you gotta watch all of my videos so that you can learn the thing that you need to learn. Please subscribe again to my video. My name is Delroy Young, and this is Delroy Young's Teaching. And Delroy Young, Delroy means delve into or study things. Young means to produce answers for questions and for the solution of man, and that is what I'm doing. We're doing this so you don't have to do it. All you have to do is listen and learn. Thanks a lot. Again, my name is Delroy Young, and you have a great day.